All right, guys, I am back, and I'm talking about something that when I first say fasting, of course, most people go into this frantic state, and they think deprivation, and they think rules, and they think perfection. And I want you guys to take those ideas and throw them out of your mind, because you know me, and that's not something I'm about at all. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about fasting, because it's something that I've been using in my everyday life for a while. And I'll get into more of how to use it and learning the ways to use fasting in your everyday life soon. But first I want to talk about fasting just as in a way of it's not a diet. And so I don't want you to think that it's a diet. It's really just a pattern of eating, okay? So it's a way of scheduling your meals so that you really get the most out of them, and that you can use the off time to help burn fat. And I'll get into that in just a second, okay? So I want you to kind of think about history and where we've evolved from. You know, our ancestors, when they were living, they didn't have 3 square meals a day with 2 snacks. No, that's not how it worked. They would actually go, a long time without food. I mean, think about the hunters-gatherers. They didn't have supermarkets or refrigerators or microwaves, right? So their bodies evolved to function without food for long periods of time. So if anything, fasting from time to time is more natural than eating all the time, like we've been learning to do, okay? So fasting can lead to fat loss, which is a lot of the reason that I adopted this, because I suffer from just like abdominal belly fat, and I wanted to get rid of it. And so I spurred a lot of different research, and this is something that I found. Because when you're in a fasted versus fed state, there's differences in that. So to understand how fasting leads to fat loss and fat reduction, we really need to think about how your body is different in a fed state versus a fasted state, okay? So when your body is in a fed state, it's digesting and absorbing and using food. And so the fed state starts when you start eating, of course, and then it lasts for like 3 to 5 hours afterwards, okay? So when you're in the fed state, it's hard for your body to burn fat because your insulin levels are high. Why? Because your body is breaking down that food, right? So after that time span, then your body goes into the post-absorptive state, which is just a fancy way of saying that you're done processing a meal. And that state can last 8 to 12 hours after a meal. So that's when you enter that fasted state. So it's so much easier for your body to burn fat in that fasted state, because it's been inaccessible when it was in the fed state, and now it can reach it, okay? So because it takes so long, like 12 hours to reach that fasted state, it's really, really rare that we get into that fat burning situation that helps so much with our belly fat. And so that's the beautiful thing about fasting and intermittent fasting, or whatever you want to call it, is that our bodies can get to this fasted state and get into a fat burning mode without ever actually changing what we're eating, without changing our diet, without changing how many calories that we're getting a day. So this is a very simple, easy way for people to lose fat, lose weight without changing any of their diet. And this is why it's been so popular. So I want you also to understand that fasting happens every single day of our lives anyway when we sleep. So when we sleep, our bodies go into that fasting mode. And what I'm asking for you guys to try is to just extend that fast out a few more hours into the day. Now, I know that sounds really hard, and you say, well, as soon as I get up, I eat. But that's because you've designed and you've built a habit on that notion. So you can change that for yourself, just like I've been able to do. So I will get up and I will have coffee with my coconut oil in my coffee, and that's it. I usually like to stay in a fasted state also for my workout. The first part of my day is my workout, and I like to be fasted for that workout. Not only then are you in a fasted state, but then you're burning calories and fat on top of it. So that is what fasting is all about. Remember what I said. It is not changing your diet. It is not changing what you eat. What it is doing is changing when you eat. It's only changing the window of time for your opportunity to get your meals in. So tomorrow I'm going to talk a little bit more about feeding schedules. That sounds so animalistic. But different feeding windows and how to get the most out of your intermittent fast. So we'll talk about that going into the week and into tomorrow. But remember that fasting is not bad. It's very normal, and it's a really easy way to get into a fat burning state that we all want to be in, right? All right, guys, I will talk to you soon.